Hi everyone, welcome to our Monday TNT, first day of a brand new week. Now we've got some really nice photos relating to the visit of His Majesty the King to Phuket yesterday. I think you might be a little bit surprised, and we'll be delighted to show you some of those photos later. You don't know what I'm going to show you, do you? Also, there are some changes in the wind for alcohol laws, and I think a lot of you might be interested to see what they would be. I might just note that June the 9th, a year ago, just 12 months since broccoli was decriminalised, so a whole year, and hasn't that been a rocky road? And of course, in coming months, we'll find out what's going to happen with that particular substance in the future. But let's get started with today's main news stories as we whip around Thailand. So last week, one of the stories we did was from the government, and it was about the inflation rate, saying during April it was only 0.5%. Now, I think a lot of people are a bit dubious about that. Maybe this person who reports that egg prices at a new high, and this story from bangkokpost.com, and we'll go to that seller in just a moment. What does he say? Some traders are attributing the high price of eggs to a shortage of supplies at farms caused by the replacement of old hens. No, we're not talking about patia. And a rise in export demand. A 65-year-old called Wanchai, well, that's him there counting his eggs. He's the owner of an egg shop in Khon Kaen up in the northeast of Thailand. He says egg prices today are the highest they've ever been. Egg prices have risen in the past few months with 2 to 6 baht a carton each time. So 2 to 6 baht per carton each month. And that's quite a lot. And a 36-year-old owner of an egg shop in Uthai Thani also said egg prices are at the highest in decades. So maybe last week's inflation report didn't include eggs. Now, a follow-up to a story from the weekend, and this reported in ThaiPBSWorld.com. Passengers on Thai plane involved Tokyo airport incident return home. Sounds like they just got a whole lot of words and threw them together on that particular headline. About 100 passengers on a Thai Airways international aircraft, which was involved in a taxiway incident at Tokyo's Haneda airport yesterday, that's Saturday, have been arriving in Thailand yesterday and today, according to the CAAT. And they say that Thai Airways arranged for 2 flights, one All Nippon Airways and the other one Japan Airlines, to fly some back to Bangkok yesterday with the remainder to follow today. And the Thai Airways plane collided with an EVA Airways aircraft on a taxiway, damaging a wing. Well, it was just actually a wing tip on the Thai Airways plane, leaving it unable to fly. And the incident's now being investigated by the Japanese aviation authorities, according to the Civil Aviation Authority of Thailand. So let's go to some video from a Japanese broadcaster, and we can see the wingtip, well, half cut off there after its collision with the EVA Air plane. Both planes were Airbus A330s. So that's on the wingtip of the plane. Obviously, that plane can't fly. They'll have to send over to Airbus and say, can we have a new wingtip, please? So that plane will be out of service for a few months. Let's go to The Nation now, and they report that Bangkok recount brings no change to election results. So there have been recounts on over the past week following the election back on May the 14th. Election recounts ordered at 47 polling stations across the country progressed without a hitch yesterday, with early results suggesting no change to the outcome of the May 14 poll. And these can come from, well, any number of complaints, and the Election Commission's job is to follow them through and, if necessary, do a recount. And the Election Commission ordered the recounts after discovering a mismatch between the total number of votes cast and the voter turnout in the elections. And stations in other provinces have also begun recounts with the updated results expected within this month. And around the country, they don't really expect that 2 or 3 votes here or there will make any change to the overall result. So there they are declaring some more votes, and as you can see in Thailand, it's pretty much a human endeavour counting those votes manually. I'm not sure if they're volunteers or if they're paid for by the Election Commission. I think they might get a small stipend, but it is pretty much a labour-intensive endeavour with a lot of oversight because people from various parties get to watch as these votes are counted. But not everybody's happy about this slow process. I mean, here we are a month after the actual vote and still no official counts that have been declared. And so Thai Newsroom from thainewsroom.com reporting election commissioners must go to jail. That's a hashtag topping the Twitter trend yesterday. And yesterday's top Twitter hashtag saying election commissioners must go to jail has ultimately underscored public sentiment against the highly contentious acts of 7 members of the Election Commission desperately trying, so the story claims, to find fault with the Move Forward Party leader and the Prime Minister designate, Peter. Now, I dare say, and I don't know for sure, that there's a little bit of political leaning in this particular story, but that being said, we'll continue on. And the story claims such an exponential concerted expression of public indignation and displeasure with the polling agency on the daily Twitter trend has apparently followed yesterday's news reports that the commissioners finally resolved to look into allegations that Peter had been well aware of his having been disqualified by law to run for MP in the May 14 election due to his holding of 0.0035% share in an off-air ITV channel. And a legal action could possibly be filed against those commissioners on charges of abusing their power and persecuting the Move Forward Party Prime Minister designate in unjust fashion. So let's just try and find out if there's a bit of background to this, and thankfully the story does provide that. Though the commissioners rejected relevant petitions earlier lodged against Peter, which could have otherwise been forwarded to the Constitutional Court, they opted out by proceeding with a criminal lawsuit in accordance with the Constitution's organic law pertaining to the election for MPs, which could possibly be brought against him in a court of justice instead. If found guilty by a court as charged, the Move Forward leader, Prime Minister designate, could possibly be sentenced to a maximum of 10 years in jail and a 20-year ban from the political arena. So, yes, there's all sorts of shenanigans going on. Whether the Election Commission is showing any sort of bias, that is claimed, obviously, by that Thai Newsroom story, but we'll just have to wait. And we've still got another 3 or 4 weeks until all the politicians sit down in a joint sitting of Parliament, so plenty more water to go under that particular bridge. A nice little story next on TNT, but thanks to our sponsor, 5 Star Marine, special deal in the description below for viewers of TNT. Great to have you with us on a brand new week here in Thailand, and glad to report we've got pretty much clear weather here on the island of Phuket at the moment. Now, as I am in Phuket, there was quite a bit of disruption over the weekend. Now, here's some footage. I was just driving down the road yesterday. This is Tepkasatri Road, near where I live, and this is outside one of the schools. And they were all set up ready to see His Majesty the King, who was visiting Thailand or visiting Phuket for the opening of a provincial office. Now, the funny thing about all these people is they were all bussed in. It's not as if they all sort of magically arrived to sit in those chairs. I saw, any number of buses arrive and these people pouring out in their yellow polo shirts with portraits of His Majesty the King and taking their seat. And they had to wait many, many hours. I'm glad it wasn't particularly hot yesterday. But in the meantime, here are some shots from Phuket Hot News. This is their Facebook page, and some lovely shots of His Majesty the King officiating over a ceremony to open a new provincial office yesterday. And there it is. Heavens knows that office has taken some 10 years to build, but this will be the new headquarters for the Phuket Provincial Organisation. And the umbrella guy not doing a particularly good job there as the King walks past the new offices, and there he is standing in front of the new Phuket Provincial Office. And then in the midst, His Majesty conducting part of the opening ceremony. And it was after that ceremony he was giving out awards to various Phuket community people, including this particular gentleman. And that is Sean Stenning. And of course, he is the owner of 5 Star Marine. And it's not only Sean, but also his wife Lisa, receiving a gift from His Majesty the King whilst Her Majesty looks on. That's in recognition for a lot of the amazing work that both Sean and Lisa have done going back 2 or 3 years in the depths of COVID-19 and some of those lockdowns in Phuket, where their organisation and a whole lot of other volunteers put their hands into their own pocket in many cases to feed a lot of the people who were, well, basically without work. The tourists had gone, they didn't have any homes to go back to up country, and they were stuck on the island. And so 5 Star Marine, in many cases, and their staff were handing out daily food to some of those people. An amazing task, and changed the lives and made it possible for a lot of those people to survive on the island at that time. So congratulations to Sean and Lisa Stenning on their award yesterday from His Majesty the King. And Sean said on a Facebook post, "I was truly honoured to be invited by the Governor and his wife to attend the royal ceremony for the opening of the new provincial hall. It was one of the most amazing experiences I've ever been involved in. It gave me chills at the time to feel the energy and love in the moment. To be asked to meet the King and receive a gift from him was something a country boy from Australia like me could never have dreamed of." Now, it should be mentioned that Sean spent most of last week in hospital in Phuket after some fairly major leg surgery. How he got down on his knees to receive that gift from His Majesty the King, I have no idea. Suffice to say, Sean is back in hospital today, but at least he was able to front up at that ceremony yesterday. So congratulations to Sean and Lisa. Monday's TNT, and really grateful for your ongoing support. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Let's move on to our next story, and this from thepatianews.com. Thai government says first phase of Thailand to China high-speed rail to be completed in 2026. 1, 2, 3 years. I wonder. And the government's reported that the first phase of the high-speed railway eventually will connect Bangkok to the city of Kunming in China. And according to a spokesperson, the first phase of the railway will have 6 stops from Bangkok, Bangsu Grand Station. I think that's meant to be called the Krungtep Apiwat Station. Not sure why an official government spokesperson is using the old name. Dongmang, Ayutthaya, Saraburi and Pakchong in the Nakhon Ratchasima. That's the first phase, and that's about a 3-hour drive. High-speed railway, I imagine, will be a bit shorter than that. The 251-kilometre railway project includes 15 construction contracts. 1 contract's been completed, 10 are underway, and 3 are still awaiting authorisation. So it's been a long time coming. It is being paid entirely by the Thai government, although they're using the Chinese trains and the Chinese high-speed train technology. And Thai police seized 200 million baht worth of heroin destined for Australia. This story also from thepatianews.com. And anti-drug police confiscated 32 kilograms of heroin valued at 200 million baht in Bangkok yesterday. The drugs were reportedly destined for Melbourne, Australia. Now, I should say that 32 kilograms of smack is a hell of a lot of heroin. And the drugs were concealed inside boxes of unreported popular brand adhesive pain relief patches. The seizure took place at the Bangkok port area on June 9 as the drugs were about to be exported to Melbourne, Australia. Out of a total of 50 crates, only 5 crates were discovered with drugs during the initial inspection. Without thorough attention to detail and the help of X-ray technology, it would have been difficult for the officers to uncover the drugs. So the drug dealers are getting smarter about the way that they move their drugs around, and the enforcement and the detection is also getting better. To our next story. And from thepatianews.com, once again, the alcohol control laws in Thailand to be a divisive issue in the post-election period. This, of course, will affect anybody who consumes alcohol, including tourists as they come to Thailand. And the Thai Alcohol Business Association announced last Friday that it supports an amendment of the country's current alcohol control regulations to benefit brewers, distillers, tourists and consumers. Coming up to the election, the Move Forward Party were proposing a number of big changes to the use of alcohol in Thailand. The president of the association said some provisions of the Alcohol Beverage Control Act could be changed to make them aligned with the current social and economic context, especially the prohibition on sales of alcoholic beverages between 2 and 5 p.m, as well as restrictions on advertising and mentioning or displaying alcohol on social media. So, hooray to most of those things. If you go to a convenience store between 2 and 5 p.m, they've usually got a bit of bungee cord, or sometimes the doors are locked or blinds pulled down, or a sign displayed saying that you can't buy alcohol at that time. Now, after 12 years in Thailand, I thought I might probably understand why, but speaking to numerous people over the years, nobody can precisely explain exactly why that law is in place. Now, I know a lot of you will have your theories on why you think it is, but really nobody really knows. I can't seem to find anything on the internet that goes through the history. Some people saying, oh, it's because that's the time schools are coming out and they don't want kids to be drinking alcohol. Well, that apparently isn't the reason. The 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. alcohol sales ban's been in place for about 50 years, and the exact reason for the ban is unclear in the current day, with various reasons and myths given often by officials and residents of Thailand. The law especially causes confusion and disappointment in tourism zones. And the poor 7-Eleven staff, they have to sort of explain to disgruntled tourists why they can't buy a bottle of beer at, say, 2:30 in the afternoon. As for overall advertising restrictions, these have often caused problems over the years, with it causing questions around if someone simply posting on their personal social media that they were having a drink with friends was a violation. I was working for one media organisation a long time ago, and they had a photo in their newspaper with a Heineken logo on somebody's breast, and they were fined 30,000 baht for having that particular photo in their newspaper. The president of the association also claimed that the law enforcement often used vague Thai alcohol laws as a way to collect bribes and encourage corruption. Well, I'm shocked, especially from bars and nightclubs. And she said some regulations are like loopholes that harm the country tourism industry, whilst also allowing for bribes and corruption. The country requires clear and concise regulations, and there's no room for ambiguity. So changes afoot to the alcohol industry in Thailand, and the laws haven't been changed for a long time, some of them very draconian, and I think getting rid of a lot of the ambiguity is a great idea, so you can expect some changes in the next 12 months, I'd say, to the consumption of alcohol and alcohol laws. And with that, thank you very much for watching today. Congratulations once again to Sean and Lisa Stenning. Thank you for watching. I appreciate 5 Star Marine's support of the program, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.